Alright, so I've cleared. This spot was garlic and onions, and I just kind of pulled the mulch to the side. Not sure what I'm going to put here. It might be quinoa, and it might be or buckwheat or a cover crop or okra, but I think I'm going to wait on and put the pumpkins down here. So right now I'm just pulling weeds, and then I'm rinsing the weeds, and I'm loosening up over there so I can pull those weeds. But yeah, so pumpkins right here and maybe a little further down. And then I have another space that's open. See, this is where my potatoes was, and this will probably stay another couple months, and this will be my main brassica crop area, cabbage and broccoli and stuff. So I have a little spot right there. Dogs have been digging in it. But I'm going to maybe throw down some more okra, because I have just like 5 or 6 okra plants here, and I love okra. But it's a beautiful morning. It's hard not to rush when I don't get as much time out here as I'd like to have. I tend to rush around and try to do all the things, so sometimes filming actually makes me slow down and notice things. Sunflower is going to have a lot of flowers. It's like a multi-blooming one, which I've never had. The zinnias are going crazy. It's awesome. Looks like there are some bugs on the sunflowers, but so far they're not having too much of a snack. So another thing I will say that I notice is that the ground cherries right here, they spread and come back very easily. I've got like little babies popping up here, and they reseeded themselves all through here from last year. So that's cool. So I was also thinking this morning that when I move this, and I throw stuff on top of it to hold it from blowing, right? Weeds, cuttings from this wild thing right here. But I'm like, oh, look at all these weeds. Well, when I move this cardboard, it'll just go right here. But for now, until I have more cardboard, that is, this is what happens. I mean, look at that. I'm like, why do you use cardboard? My husband says I like to grow trash. No, I like to grow food, and you can't grow food and weeds at the same time. And this grass is relentless. Look at that. Where the cardboard ends. Get out of my compost. So I was telling him I wanted another piece of cardboard from something we got in the mail, and he was like, no. And I said, well, then you're going to give me a rug, because I also tend to use old rugs to just stop the weeds. So I'm waiting patiently for these Romas and a lot of little yellow tomatoes, which I never plant, and they come back somehow every year, and I end up growing them. I thought that was something else, but that's what all that is. And I have a bunch of those randomly in my garden. So here's a squash bug. There's 2 of them on here. So they ate all my squash, and now they're trying to look at vine boring my cucumbers. Alright, so here we go. I made 4 hills here. And usually those are reserved for watermelons, but I think it'll be great for pumpkins too. Oh my. Sounds of summer. And over here I planted 2 kinds of basil, a Chinese sweet and a blue basil, and some quinoa. So some grains in there with the basil, just to kind of fill in. And I popped some more okra in over by the other okra. So now I'm going to plant these 9-year-old pumpkins. Yeah. I think one of the hardest things about trying to film planting and trying to keep up is trying to do it while you have the time in the summer, because it's so hot. So fast. And I slept until like 6:30, but first thing I did was come out here and get started. Alright, so pumpkins from 2013. So I'm gonna do, because I don't know about germination on these, I'm gonna plant maybe like 5 per hill and see what makes it. Oops. Just kind of digging them in. I guess I'll do 2 hills of these old pumpkins, or maybe I'll just do this 1 hill. Okay. Then I'm going to plant these white pumpkins. Having a hill gives you more root space too. If you don't have it, you can create your own root space if you have shallow soil. Alright, and then I've got sugar pie pumpkins. Oops. Dropped a seed. I don't know which one this is. It's going in here. Alright, so that's the one to watch to see if it actually germinates. Do about 3 per hill on these. Some ants over here. And that's it. And I'm gonna water them in. That's it. I've been deadheading these daisies and saving them so I can grow more next year. I have a bunch already, but it looks like the heat is really getting to them. Amazingly, this kale is still hanging in there. Just love how pretty it is. And so, so edible. Love it in my smoothies. Kale's one of my top 3. And these polar bear zinnias, goodness. And I love this. There's just a random dill. That's what I love about no-till gardening and just letting nature do nature, is you get so many surprises. It's awesome. Just a quick peek. This is where the peas were. And now there's a tomato and a cucumber and a tomato on either side right next to each other. Couple tomatoes around here that I started from suckers that I pinched off and put in water. So these are bonus later tomatoes, so that's exciting. I haven't had that much success with pinching suckers. Here's a basil going ahead and going to flower. That's cool, man. We've got some carrots right in here. And zinnias. So it's just a multitude of things. Another thing that always tries to come back is Malabar spinach. So I've been trying to pull that if it's right near my plant base, because that will take energy from my plant. And then just one more thing, the kale. I just sprinkled the seeds down here and then I thinned, and they are hurting from the heat, but they're in the shade of this tree. So they're surviving these 99-degree days in Louisiana with no rain, and I still have kale. So that's pretty amazing to me. I'd love to have kale all year round. That is goals. So I'm gonna get back to work. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you get some time doing what you love to do today. And happy growing.